But I think we have to do this live. Vertical. This is going to be interesting. Give me a second. I got to switch the camera around. We're skilled enough to do that.
Uh-oh.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, bad start. Terrible start to the live. There we go. All right, so this is going to be vertical live because we didn't have the option of doing horizontal live. Yeah, this is kind of, I'm not really overly happy about that. Anyways, hey guys, let me know if you can hear me. I'm going to pass the camera over to Ward here. Comments will be easier for you.
Yeah, it should be good.
So I'm going to put it up on the TV.
And please be patient with us. Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know why. So usually when I schedule the live, it gives you the opportunity to do vertical or horizontal. And we didn't get any options, so.
Ooh, nasty.
Anyways, welcome guys to the live. Yeah, just kind of getting organized. The shop's really full right now. Really full. I can bring it over here so I'm not so far in the background.
Okay, and bring you up.
All right, I think you guys can hear me. I'm sure you can. Just looking at the TV, loud and clear, perfect. Thank you. All right, so welcome. It's been 2 weeks since we did the last live. Vertical is better than what?
Vertical is better than nothing. So
Perfect. There we go. That's a great opinion. Vertical is better than nothing.
Yes.
We'll just be really tall this time. Actually, it's easier for me to see the comments up on the TV, which is kind of nice. So I still can't read them from here, really, unless I
need glasses.
Focus. No, my eyes are tired. Hey, Stacy. Yeah, so it's been 2 weeks. Last weekend we were at Toefield Jets. What a fun event!
Yeah.
It was tons of fun. We had, for the most part, some good weather. Made into the BDX. Hey, David. The BDX, unbelievable. You guys, the video today was about the BDX with my flights. Sorry we didn't get a bunch of good flight videos. Ward and I were just talking about that. Yeah, and unfortunately we didn't get a lot of good flight videos, but I did the setup video of my BDX, so hopefully you guys saw that video. If you didn't, check it out on the other channel. That plane is, and there's a couple guys, well, Stacy flew it, and anybody else who owns the full-size BDX that has flown it, they should totally understand. That plane is, and I don't say this lightly, the best flying plane I have ever flown. It is unbelievable. Balanced on the back of the wing tube with 1 liter of fuel in the tank. The flying characteristics were amazing, so neutral. Kyle says he loves his BDX. Yeah, like I am blown away with how good that plane flies. It just tracks in the sky, and I sorry to push on this, but it tracks in the sky so well. When you go inverted, like almost zero push. It just, where you point it goes. It is so nice. Anyways, enough about the BDX. And the color scheme is awesome, so totally happy about that. It is a wonderful plane. So Toefield was awesome. Unfortunately, we had some carnage there, which is kind of the nature of almost every event when you get a bunch of jet flyers together. Nothing on my end, but sorry to Aaron and Steve who had some unfortunate carnage. Yes, the BDX is over there. What else? We flew the Lancer at the Toefield event. Super cool. The skies are wide open, and it is the Lancer with that 95 is so much fun. I think my second flight there, I did some really hard pulls on that airplane. So full throttle coming across the runway, hard 90 straight up, and the plane didn't flinch. So built very well, very strong. I was thinking about turning the power down to the 80 setting, but I never did. flying for like 9 minutes, and we're still landing with just under 50% fuel. So absolutely crazy.
She was doing 90-degree verticals. I swear.
Yeah, it was super cool.
Square corners.
Very nice. Very nice plane. I'm very happy with it. It's really nice. It shows up great in the sky too. Yeah, so Bronco's back, which is cool. We'll cover more about that in a little bit. We've got a question first, or a couple questions from David Faltis. So he emailed me today, I think it's today, July 20th, and he said, "Hey Jonathan, I have a few questions for you on your next After Dark. Is there any full-scale jet that you would like to see a manufacturer bring to the RC market that has not been done before?" And then the second part of the second question, I guess, is what, if any, improvements would you like to see manufacturers put in their jets? So 2 great questions. As far as scale jets that haven't been done before, there's a lot of scale aircraft out there. We have far less exposure to aviation here in Canada. I know that's maybe not an excuse, but I didn't grow up like searching out planes and going to air museums. So I don't have a ton of experience with all the weird, like not common aircraft. So there's probably lots of aircraft that haven't been done in model format. The one that I thought of initially as soon as I read your question was, I wish more manufacturers would build an F-22. The F-22 has a bit of a soft spot for me. Some of you guys that are fans of the channel knew we had a deposit down with Wind RC for an F-22, and unfortunately we canceled that and kiboshed that just because there were so much problems in their production. Howdy to everybody. I'm watching the comments go up the screen.
It's a good question I'll have to ask you when you're done.
Cool. I do wish there was more F-22s. I mean, right now I think there's really only, as far as I know, T1. Maybe I'm not saying that right. I think T1 makes a big F-22. Pacific Jets, whoever, I forget who actually makes it. Obviously, Wind RC is working on making one, but there's really not a lot of F-22s out there, so I wish there was, because it's a cool plane. Yeah, and then the other question, what, if any, improvements would you like to see manufacturers put in their jets? I can think of a lot of things, and maybe some of it's nitpicking. You know, it's easy to say, I wish manufacturers would make better quality aircraft. The downside with that is, let's take Skymaster as an example. If every Skymaster plane had everything Loctited and all of the surface hinge points or actuation points done already, would we as modelers be willing to pay another $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for the aircraft? That's the simple question, I think. So in my mind, the manufacturers are doing a good job. Obviously, quality is the big one. But from my end, when I'm putting together a sports jet like the Razer we've been putting together this week, it's a great, easy build. Most of the stuff's already done for you. When I'm putting together a Skymaster aircraft, it's a lot more work. I know what the work is. I know what the idiosyncrasies with the kit is, and I know how to fix those things and deal with those things. So to me, it really doesn't matter. I just kind of expect that every manufacturer doesn't Loctite anything, and every airplane needs to come apart and get put back together. Even the planes that show up that say they're ready to fly, put your receiver in and fly, they're not ready to fly. So I can think of a lot of things to nitpick, but I don't really have an easy answer for your question. So anyways, thanks for your question. And I think there was another word that you said.
Okay, Jonathan, can you show us the fuel fill port you use for the BDX? I think they are from Jersey Modeler. I've been wanting to change from the old style to just a fuel line plug. That's from Kendrick P.
Perfect. Yes, we'll definitely take a look at that. So hold on to that. We will go look at my other 2 aircraft over there. The Bronco is back. So we've got a lot of videos in the queue already. So I think there's 4 videos uploaded to the main channel right now. So channel members get to see those videos in advance. There's like the F4 video 1. There is Razer video 1 that was uploaded today. What else? F16 Venom Maiden Flight is uploaded. And Razer Unboxing is uploaded. So Razer Unboxing and Razer Video 1. So what was the point I'm trying to make? Oh yeah, so Bronco, you guys are seeing a very early view. We're probably going to have 10 more videos uploaded to the channel before this thing even sees a video. So yeah, this will kind of be the sneak peek, and we won't really do anything with it for a while. Joe dropped this off yesterday. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So Kyle, the owner, is on the chat right now. And Kyle, I'll tell you, this thing is beautiful. So I'll take you guys for a quick walk around here. There is some really cool things that Joe did on this thing. So panel lines. So basically, if you're not familiar, this is the Hangar 9 Bronco, which is the one that has the funny covering on it. So what happened with this aircraft is we're building this aircraft, but so Joe, the aircraft was delivered, it was unboxed, given to Joe at RC Custom 3D Printing. Oh, look at that, I got a little wispy hanging up. And he took all the covering off, filled everything, all the balsa. He fiberglassed the entire plane, all the surfaces, primed everything, painted the panel lines in, which is really cool. Put 30,000, minimum 30,000 rivets, and he knows how many because he printed them off. So they're vinyl rivets. 30,000 rivets on this aircraft, and then painted it, and then weathered it. Like, unbelievable. So Joe has about 180 hours into this aircraft right now, and it is just stunning. So I'm going to flip this around. So yeah, so this is all panel line tape, and he sprays coats of primer, peels the panel line tape off, installs the rivets, did a very scale light weathering on this thing. It's beautiful. Such a beautiful aircraft. Obviously, it's a little hard to tell because it's in so many pieces, but just wicked. So nice. I'll show you the wings over here. Yeah, so stuff like this. He changed these to be scale fillers. So the decal kit that came from Cali Graphics, I think these were red. Scale on the plane. This is silver. So Joe actually, it looks like he printed these, 3D printed them, or used resin, sorry. And so this is actually a raised filler, like just beautiful. So Joe, if you're watching this, thank you. You did an amazing job on this aircraft. So we will be starting this thing here in the near future. So it's going to have electric power on it. Really excited for it. I'm just scrolling through you guys' comments here. Howdy to everybody who has commented. Tito, I have a F-22 from CJM Winter Project. Hey, Fred.
Let's see an A10 for a plane.
Sheldon said, have you flown a Razer yet? No, I haven't. As David said, the Razer will be at LA Jets. So we started the Razer on Tuesday, and it's almost done, actually. If I had the pipe here, it would be done tomorrow. But we have to wait for the pipe. Yeah, so I'll take you guys for a walk around here, the other projects we've been working on. So Razer on the main channel hasn't even been unboxed yet, but there it is. It's almost done. F-22, the main body's there. We haven't been working on the main body. We got all of our parts right here. Yeah, you're going to be really excited with the Bronco. The tail section is what we've got done so far. So video number 1 is all the equipment overview. Video number 2, we're just wrapping up the tail section. So I'll show you guys some of the details on that. And the Razer is stunning. So just finished the wings today. So basically the fuselage is done, tail section's done, everything's painted, all the wirings run forward. Wings are all complete now, so wings are 100% done, ready to plug in. And yeah, this thing's almost finished. So very, well, helps when you have experience, but very quick assembly and going together very well. We're basically doing the exact same setup as the BDX.
And again,
so,
the film doesn't do the color justice.
No, exactly. So
snaps.
all of our equipment will be underneath here. We'll have our tray covering everything. The only thing you'll see is the UAT, front retract, and we'll have our batteries placed in the nose. Yeah, so very cool aircraft, really nice, and impressive, very impressive. Yeah, I got F-22 on the brain. Yeah, so that's that. So getting back to the fillers, I'll give you the camera award.
Okay.
So I can show you the BDX because that's actually fairly easy to get to. Man, I love this plane. Whew. All right, I'm just going to grab an Allen key and we'll pull that off. So there's basically 2 fillers that I use from Jersey Modeler, and they essentially do the same thing. So they're the dry brake ports, and there's an inline version, and then there's a, I think it's called the bezel mount, maybe. Maybe I'm thinking the inline version is the bezel mount, but anyways, it doesn't really matter. So if you pass me the camera, I'll show this. So basically, you've got the filler port here. So the actual dry brake portion is the blue thing right there. So basically what happens with these Jersey fillers, and I don't have any inline ones to show you, I'm waiting on my order, but if you look inside there, there's a little white thing. So right now, there's no way for fuel to actually come out of here. So it basically has a double seal. So you've got that, which when you push your filler in from your fuel system, that actually, when you quarter turn it, that actually opens that up. So you've got that as your seal, and you've also got 2 O-rings on your cap. So that's basically what I use in all my aircraft. My Rebel has the exact same thing. I think it's the same thing. I'll pull that canopy off. That might be the inline one. I can't remember what I put in my Rebel, actually. It's been a while since we've flown the Rebel. Oh yeah, it's the same one. It's the mounted one. So yeah, so that's basically what I use. The inline ones can be a little bit cleaner, obviously, a little bit easier to hide. So of course, when everybody's watching, this is the time when it's a pain to put this back on.
What's above the Rebel?
What's that? Oh, that's the pattern plane. The Narila. There we go. Yeah, that's the Glacial F3A is what's above there. Rebel Hot is still here. We're gonna maiden the Rebel Hot. We were gonna maiden it 2 weeks ago. We brought it out to the field, and the brakes weren't working. So we're going to change the gear controller to an LGC22 Zykoy unit, and that should fix the brakes, I'm hoping. So I was looking forward to flying that. That's actually the day we did our maiden flight of the Lancer, was when we were going to do the Rebel Hot maiden. So it's not mine. That's Lewis's, but he wants me to maiden it for them. So we'll get probably 3 flights on it when we do that. Yeah, so, and then we'll do a bit of a summary here on the F4, how everything is going with that. So I'm just gonna set it up like this because it's easier. So tail section is done. Video number 1, we covered all the equipment that we're putting in the plane. And then we started off with our rudder. Now the rudder is all hidden underneath this stuff. There's a rod coming up here, which activates the rudder. But as it sits right now, it's all hidden. So you're not able to see any of that stuff. And then we've got our horizontal stab, which is awesome. So that's that. The chute's installed, set up and everything. The actual chute is in there, ready to go. We've got all of our wires and everything run forward. Last thing I did, which will be in the second video, is afterburner lights, turkey feathers installed, and got our operating tail hook figured out. So the last thing I did was glue the hinge in, which is a metal hinge that I used, a piano hinge. So that's done, and then we still need to figure out our servo, which is going to mount right in this area and activate the tail hook. So yeah, really impressed with this aircraft so far. It's turned out very nice so far. So just going to lay this down. Should be safe, kind of like that. We should put a ball in there. Yeah, so generally I don't want to split an aircraft. I would like to put this one together and just have it all together, but because it's getting shipped to Norway, we do need to be able to split the fuselage. And I talk about this in the videos. Video number 1. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to ship the tail section. I think we're going to take the stab off and maybe ship the wings all together with it. The wings are huge. And then ship the rear fuselage, or sorry, the front fuselage as kind of a nice skinny box, which is sitting over there. So anyways, that's catch-up time for all the projects. Yeah. So if you guys have any other questions, let me know. I don't know if you've been scrolling the questions there, Ward. F4 seems to be the hot model right now. Yeah, I mean, it's hot because Carf came out with their big one, really, is what it comes down to. So that big one is all over the internet. It is, I mean, for me, that's been a really popular video as well.
Yeah, they're not really saying much today.
And it's stinking hot here. It is so hot. I'm not complaining.
Air conditioning.
But
Funds
it's
for
really
air
hot.
conditioning unit can be sent to.
It is really hot. So if you're Celsius, we are like 30 to 33 degrees every day. Tuesday, we're supposed to get up to 36, which will be basically 100 degrees is 36. I think body temperature is like 37.4,
Yeah.
which is like 99.
98.9.
Yeah, basically 100 degrees, right? Yeah. So crazy hot, crazy hot. So yeah, it's a little hot in here every day. What does that say?
Okay, let me just scroll down
Too
here.
far away.
Okay. It's hot and smoky here at BVM Hangar. 97 degrees.
Yeah, Kelly, you're pretty much the same weather as us all the time, so. Yeah, don't worry. Winter will be here soon, Kelly. Winter will be here soon.
Kendrick said he's going to order a few of the those fuel. Says a few.
The fuel fitter.
I was worried about them leaking air. So.
Yeah, and on my on the Lancer, actually, I'll show you what I used on the Lancer. It was a bit of a workaround because I'm waiting on those inline pieces. So just hang tight there. I'll pull the Lancer down.
Okay. William B says soon it will be snowing. Quit your Quit your bitching.
Yeah, oh, I know. I'm aware.
We don't mind snow. We get it here.
I would much rather have the heat than the snow.
And Kendrick says in his part of the world, that's the heat temperature all around, all year round. Couldn't take that.
I just got to do up the screw, which didn't get done up before.
I'm just going to get you in this picture a little bit.
Dun, 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 dun,
And Kelly says this is why he doesn't hold jets over Montana in July.
Yes, thank you very much, because we'd all be sitting in kiddie pools if we were doing the event right now. All right, so in here, I used the same kind of fuel port, but it's not the dry brake port. So it's the same quarter turn and everything. But in this one, the only thing that's sealing it is the O-rings, which is in the cap. So it works. You've got two O-rings sealing it, but it's wide open to pass those O-rings. So it was just a temporary thing. So when I get my inline fittings, they're the same blue fitting. They look exactly like this. So I would just change this out with one of the blue fittings. So.
Okay, Michael Timms asks if you've ever flown a thrust vectory.
I have not. No, I haven't. Boomerang Jets is supposed to be sending me the Atom and also the J10. I don't think I'm a fan of the thrust vectoring. And I say that way because I don't know. I don't think it's my cup of tea, but I don't know because I've never flown it. So
you might fly it and like it.
I know, I could fly it and it might be the best thing ever, and then suddenly I become a world champion 3D jet guy. Probably not, but anyways, that's
Joseph asked if the BDX build is going to be on the main channel.
BDX build is not. I unboxed the BDX on a Tuesday, I think, and Wednesday I started putting it together and it was done by Saturday. So I didn't do any videoing of the BDX, but today's video is just an overview of the assembly or the layout that I used. All of the servo arm lengths and everything were exactly the same as I did on the high visibility BDX project. So if you want to see like servo arm lengths and everything, just watch that. Obviously the plane's laid out differently. It's painted on the inside. There's, a lot of different touches on it, but yeah, if you want to see how it's laid out, watch that summary video from today. And I spent about 10 minutes going through all the details and pulling the plate up and showing the equipment layout and everything. So,
okay,
but
no,
there's
David's
no
going to
video.
spoil you again. He says you can fly his Diablo when you're in LA.
Oh, cool.
So that way you can get an idea of vector thrust is like.
There we go. Get to try vectored thrust.
You spoil him, David. You spoil him.
So yeah, we'll be at Jets Over LA, middle of August. Looking forward to that. That's going to be tons of fun. 2 days at Jets Over LA. I look like I'm all just like, bleh. I should sit up normal.
Yeah, sit up straight. Let's quit laying on the floor.
There we go. Yeah. So yeah, if I do get the Atom, I don't know if I'm going to set it up with a powerful enough turbine to do vectored thrust. I don't even know if I put the vectored thrust nozzle in the back. I might just keep it regular. The J10 kind of needs to be set up with vectored thrust, so we'll see what happens. Yeah. If you guys have any other questions, ask. We're going to do a short live tonight, so we got 30 minutes left. We'll keep it under an hour for summertime hours.
Yeah, Hornet Flyer says those are the Kent system fittings.
Yes, Kent.
Been using them for years.
Exactly. So what I'm going to do now during the live is we're going to work on the nose gear of the Razer, because that is one of the next things to do. So we'll come over here and take a look at the nose gear stuff. I'm just going to move this F4 out of the way.
Yeah, that way I can set it. sit on here, and it should cover the whole area nicely.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't remember who said it, but one of you guys said that the F4s are popular right now. I really want to order an F4 from SkyMaster. Like it's on my list. So
Okay.
I've been very close to ordering it.
If you have any experience with the Black Horse kit.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I may have without knowing, because we've put some weird planes together over the past little while, but no, I don't have any direct experience with that.
Kelly's got to run, so.
Ciao, Mr. Kelly. Thank you. All right. Okay, so I got to remember to video.
And Leeman2035 says, you need a bigger shop, John.
Oh.
Again, John.
I know
that. We know that.
I know. Oh, how I know.
We go dancing out in the field, praying for
And
the
it's
shed God.
it's empty right now. Like, we think about all those big planes that we took down to Montana. Like, it is very empty in here right now, but we still have a lot of planes in here. But very soon, like that big crate over there, which houses that thing, will be gone. The Ultra Bandit up there will be gone in about 2 weeks with the Razer to LA. So both of those guys will be gone. The F4, when that one's done, it will be gone or shipped out. The A10 kind of lives here. It's not mine. My Rebel, that guy will be finished. I'm not sure when it's going to leave. Rebel Hot, once it's made, will be gone. My BDX and the Strega, which kind of lives here as well too. So yeah, we definitely need a bigger shop. F18 up there.
Still available.
Still available. Oh yeah. It uses the same covering as the Bronco. Yeah, no kidding. I need a hanger like Tyler Perry for sure. I'm gonna flip that around. One other thing that I can't remember which video I'm mentioning it in. I think it's on the Razer build, but very soon, probably this week, I'm going to be adding a for sale section on my website. So I'm just trying to think about how I said it in the video. So, sometimes planes that we build here at the shop, the owner wants to sell it. Sometimes we come across planes like the F-18 up there, which was built here. Sometimes there's people that we may have built a plane for and they've had it for a while and they're looking to sell it. Anyways, I'm going to make a separate page on our webpage, so it'll be part of our website, thelightersideofrc.com. And that page is going to feature any aircraft that we are brokering. Is that the right word?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it'd be brokering.
Selling.
You're selling.
Not really
for somebody
selling.
else.
Maybe helping somebody sell it. Maybe selling directly. So, anyways, keep an eye out for that. I'll probably put it up on Facebook when it's actually up. But the goal is to get that up this week, and that F-18 will be on that page as the first model. And the point of all that is so people can see the details anytime they want, right? Like we've pulled that plane down a few months ago to do an overview on the live here. And I do have some pictures and stuff, and I can tell you all the information, but it's nice just to have it posted somewhere. So anyways, that's coming very soon. That's on my to-do list this week.
Okay.
Pause for a sec. I just got to record this. Not physically, not literally pause, but just hold that thought. Give you time to look through the comments. Come on, microphone. There you go. All right, with wings done, we've got the aircraft sitting over there, and we've got our gear laid out, and it's time to get the nose gear sorted for the Razer. So that is kind of one of the last big steps before we get into the wiring and equipment layout. So pretty standard here for the landing gear. This is kind of a normal for these bigger EA aircraft. So step number one, we're going to get our servo mount installed. This only mounts one way. You've got countersunk screws, but this is one of those critical things where you got to make sure you Loctite everything on here. Now the nose pin comes with a standard flat spot down one side. That flat spot is for your steering arm. Then once this is installed and you've got your linkage set up, then you need to add more flat spots for the fixing bolts on the leg. Definitely add flat spots. If you don't, your gear is going to turn. So we're going to get this thing sorted out. Obviously our last servo that we have is going to be installed in the nose gear. That's a MKS HV1220, and that is our layout.
Okay, MR asks, how do turboprop motors these days compare to the 2 or 4 stroke engines? Would they run okay on a float plane application?
Good question. Yes, they definitely do. There's lots of guys local to us, quite a few float guys. It's funny because we don't live near water really, but there's quite a few float guys that I fly with on a regular basis at regular jet events, and a lot of those guys have float turboprop aircraft. They are awesome. They are nice in scale, and yeah, they work really well. So definitely a cool side of the hobby. Turboprops in general have become a lot more reliable. If you were to go back 10 years ago, there was a lot less options for turboprops, and the reliability was not so great. Gearbox issues on a very regular basis, and it seems like manufacturers have done a lot more work to make better units. And now you've got offerings from JetCat, Zykoy, KingTech. Those are kind of the 3 big names for turboprops, and I can't think of any more.
Sheldon asks, have you used Electron manual controller? He says he likes his for installing gear. They just updated with a new model.
I use mine all the time. I've used it probably 7 times today. On that model over there, I've used it while putting the wings together. I'll use it during the installation of the nose gear to get it centered and everything. Yeah, I use it all the time. It actually lives in my radio box. When I go to Jet Power in September, I'll be picking up one of the new ones as well too. I did see the new one. It looks pretty slick, just like a push button selector, which is very cool.
And Joseph asks, what's the orange and gray fuselage for?
No comments.
We cannot comment on that.
No comments, sorry, yeah.
Hornet Flyer says, Black Horse uses the same print coverings like the Bronco. Construction is not composite, sorry.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, I'm, like that Bronco's an okay plane. This is next level, but you got to remember too, like that Bronco, when you buy it from Hangar 9, it's a pretty affordable plane for what it is. I don't know the actual retail on it, but it's pretty affordable, looks cool. From a distance, that printed covering is kind of neat looking, but when you get up close to it, it's like, it looks really, to be nice, it looks really nasty. But this is next level. But you got to remember, there's over 180 hours of time put into getting this thing to where it is. So by the time that aircraft's done, with all and Joe's still working on cockpit and everything, which is way more time too. So by the time that thing's done, you're probably 300 hours of labor on that thing, and it's an ARF, right? So. But it's going to look, I mean, it's one of a kind now, so.
Okay. Kenneth asks, I would like to see an OV10 with turboprops.
Yeah, that'd be cool. It'd be a neat project for sure. I'm actually, when I posted this on Facebook that the Bronco was back, I think everybody assumed that it would get turboprops just because that's pretty much all we deal with, but I'm actually really excited to use the electric power system on it. It's going to be really powerful. The batteries we've got for that thing are nuts, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously internal combustion's fun, but for simplicity, the electric in there is really nice too.
Well, that one's going to be electric? Okay.
Yeah. Just like the F3A, the pattern plane up there too. I mean, that's going to be electric, which is super cool. This thing here, so when you're mounting the servo, if you want to come over here, Ward.
Yeah.
Generally, when you're mounting the Electron Retracts, the nose servo here, you have to screw the nose servo in from the bottom. So if you sit it like this is pretty much normal with almost all the Retracts. If you sit it like this, the alignment here between the arm and the servo arm is skewed like this. I'm over exaggerating. So in order to get this aligned properly, you need to mount it from the underside. When you get your servo arm mounted, then everything is nice and straight. So, and then we'll do, just like I did on the BDX, we'll do a Z pattern with this guy. So we'll have it like this. Linkage will come across, and that'll sit like this. So the servo arm will be like that. So it's just squishes everything together and makes it more compact. So we'll lubricate that.
Just go back over here. Okay. Okay. Sheldon said, "Ask Hornet, is it's standalone and you power it?"
Oh, Hornet Flyer. I'll show you. I'll show you on this guy. The controller is super easy. So I actually keep it in my radio box like this, and this is my little smorgasbord of cables. So it pretty much works for any setup that I come across. So that's the Electron manual controller. So here's one of the standard cables. So if we want to operate this Electron gear, we'll plug the standard cable in, plug this to the output. It really doesn't matter because it's just all it's doing is sending a signal or a power. We need our battery, which is here. So you just use a 2-cell battery for it. So this is the old unit. So basically you have little dip switches. So ER50, both of them are this direction, which is what we're using. So we'll just keep it there. But if you're using ER40s, you do dip switch 1 towards me, dip switch 2 towards you guys, ER30s, both of them up. And then, so we've got this plugged in right now, and all we do is use the retract and deploy button. So when you're setting this up in the aircraft, we can lay this inside the front of that Razer, and I do the same thing in the wings. I can retract them, deploy them, retract them, deploy them, to get everything nice and centered. Super easy. And then some planes, because they require, like the L39 as an example, sometimes some of these planes you need to drop the landing gear before you put the wing on. So that's what I've got all these connectors for. So in the case of my ashlock connectors, how I normally set it up, I can just use a standard servo connector in here, and I just go negative to negative, positive becomes our yellow, and when I plug this into the wing, when I set up the wings, if I've got enough spaces, I always have positive, blank space, negative. So I can just take this, plug it into my ashlock connector, and it works. But then I've got other options here in case we run into different scenarios. So scenario like this, I can use that. And if we've got our cables squished together, we've got our positive and negative right beside each other. So this plugs into certain wings. I've got this option here as well too, which again works with some retracts. And then this option here is another one where you've got your both of them coming together. So this is basically the same as this connector, just with a standard servo end. So just covers all the different ends, and then this is our binding cable for jetty.
Okay, MR says, why not mount the ball to the bottom of the arm? I think he's talking about your servo, why you put it in that way.
You can. I'll show you why it doesn't work so well. So if we go like this,
pull it a little bit towards you. That way it's in.
So if we go like this, if you look here, you'll see, I can't see, but if you look there, those arms are on exactly the same plane.
Yep.
Right? So
perfect.
If we mount the ball joint or arm, here's our arm, on the underside, so you can set these guys up like this, like that. The downside is when you get to here, you're going to get interference with the mount right there. So this becomes an issue, and then if you're setting it up like this, I mean, if you go all the way out, it may work. But then if you start to use the Z pattern like this, then you're going to run into issues with it contacting the servo. So there's plenty of room in this plane, so that's why we set it up just like that. So ideally, the first thing is getting these on the same plane, so the same level. So when you put your arm, you can connect both of those guys, and it's nice and straight. So in actual fact, we could use a clevis in this scenario. That's how accurate they are and how close they are to being exactly the same. But we'll use the supplied ball joints on it. So
Hornet Flyer says he's going to pick up one.
yeah, they're super handy. They definitely are. They're one of those little tools that make things so much easier, which is why it lives in my radio box. All right.
Stacy's trying to get his super airline gone, but David said check his messenger.
What? Tito says, have you used a single Jetronic valve for brakes on jets? Yes, use them all the time. Generally, the Zykoi ones have been the ones that we've started using more often. But Jetronic and Zykoi, both great options. So. All right, so we need some washers for those guys. I don't think I've got any handy.
Okay. No questions right now, so.
No questions? Perfect. Because I'm digging around for washers. Because they're all out in the trailer. In my parts bins.
And if your question has been missed, do ask it again and we'll
Yes.
get to it, okay? Because
good point.
sometimes you get a lot of questions and I don't want to interrupt John when he's on his tirage about what he's talking about, so. And it gets pushed a long ways away.
All right.
And so, Sheldon asks, anyone hit the like button?
Ooh, good call, Sheldon. If you're on this live stream,
Got 22 likes so far.
hit that
Thumbs
like
up.
button.
Yeah.
Sometimes these don't fit because they're very close, but I think we can make this work, maybe? Yes. Dun, 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 dun. Perfect. So all you guys on the live stream,
Echo Smoke says, should put the Bronco wing panels together to show the size.
no, that sounds like too much work, Joe. Sorry. Because then if I put them together, I just got to take them apart. But it is big. Actually, I guess we got a wide open
You have the wide open floor.
thing there. But see, you're far more familiar with the Bronco than I am because I just unboxed the thing and gave it to you.
So I'll just put it over here.
Let's see what we can figure out here.
Okay.
Whoa.
Kenneth says, is there a big price difference in the price between electric gear and air operated?
That's a tough one to ask because, or to answer because, like if you take a Skymaster as an example, they come as air and they're included with the kit. If you were to buy them separately, generally they are a couple $1,000s to $5,000. So really depends. Sometimes there's not a lot of options. Like a BDX, there's no options for anything other than the electric gear. So
Echo Smoke is a laughing, tearing emoji, and he says only 4 tubes.
yeah, but the thing is I got to find them and figure out how this all goes together, but I think I've got it figured out. This is big. Okay, so it looks like we've got one there and one there.
I'm going to move back here and get you all on the screen.
Maybe it's that one.
And no, it's not going to be a race, guys.
What?
It's not going to be a race.
What?
Putting it together. Hornet Fire says the new SMA tent actually came with electric retracts. He was expecting air.
Probably the smaller one, I would guess, not the big one.
And MR asks, how does the Jetty Assist compare to the Cortex?
I've never used
Other
Jetty
benefits
Assist.
to running a Cortex along with a Jetty receiver.
Say that again?
Any other benefits to running a Cortex along with a Jetty receiver?
The benefits to Cortex is they integrate with Jetty perfectly. So you can adjust everything on your device explorer. It's easy to set up. You can have your Cortex set up in, I mean, now I've got mine set up in 2 minutes. And yeah, so the reason to use Cortex is it integrates with Jetty really nicely. Obviously, you'd say that the Jetty Assist should integrate with Jetty very nicely, but I've never really used one. I just don't hear great things about them. Setup is a real pain, apparently, so holy mackerel, hey? Look at the size of that thing.
Yeah, Kenneth Rose says he still kit builds. That's why he was asking about the... Wow.
There we go.
Yeah, that's the whole screen that I can get in there. And it's way taller than you.
Yeah, that's massive.
Yeah, Hornet Fire says his 810 is the smaller one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool to see the smaller one coming with electric gear. I'm happy.
Here.
I got it word, it's okay.
Okay.
So wingspan, 109 inches, 9 feet. Crazy. That's massive. It's actually a lot more easy to store now that it's together. Cool. That's big. Look at that. That's such a beautiful job. Joe, you did amazing work. Thank you.
And Justin Morgan said it's 10 feet. He was close. It's only 9.
Wow. Those fillers are awesome. Very
Get
nice.
a closer look at it all.
Yeah.
I'll just run down as you comment.
Yeah, nice weathering too. Just gentle weathering. Looks great. Really nice. Well done, Joe. 2 thumbs up. Very cool. Love the panel lines. They look awesome. Really nice.
Yeah, awesome.
What a transformation compared to the printed covering.
Okay. Steven asked, does anyone have the Skymaster F-18 on electric retracts? He's
No.
never done air systems, so very new.
The Skymaster F-18 and all of their large aircraft will be always air. The way they operate and the complexity of them is they are direct copies of the scale, the full scale ones. So you will not see those, at least anytime soon, on electric. So as an example, the F-18 gear, the main gear, when it comes down, it's got the main cylinders that drop it down, and then it's got 2 locking cylinders. So those little locking cylinders, they don't just operate open and close, they kind of work with the system. So they kind of unlock, the gear comes up, and they lock. So it's a bit of it pretty much has to be air for it to work properly.
Lots of comments on that wing. Wing load is nice, should be nice. And
Yeah.
Horner says there's a couple of them in his club. And
Stacy likes to see the Loctite.
Arnold wants to see, Sheldon wants to see, put that nose gear in. Always hate doing it, and would like to see you do it.
Well, you should watch the videos then. Easy peasy.
Echo Smoke says, thanks, Jonathan. He enjoyed doing the Bronco.
Nice. All right. Oh, the other thing that I do when I'm putting gear in like this, like my BDX, I use wood screws. When I was putting together my, what was that big plane that I had? The Pennzoil scheme one. What was that called? Anybody remember what the what my big Pennzoil scheme aircraft was?
Kinetics?
No.
Nope.
It was before that.
Before that. Huracan?
Yes.
David.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember when I was putting the Huracan together and everybody's like, oh my gosh, you can't use wood screws. That's a terrible idea. It'll rip it out and everything. No, wood screws are the best way to go. Blind nuts are terrible. So this is exactly what I'm using when I mounted these in my my BDX. I used number 6 by 3/4 wood screws. Same thing I'm using in the Razer, and they are awesome. We use the Robertson or square head, which is basically impossible to strip out. The gear plates aren't any thicker than that depth right there. And if you ever have a hard landing, I would much rather this pull out than it destroy your entire gear mounts. So that's why I use wood screws. They are by far a superior way to do it. And you may not agree with me, and that is totally okay. Because opinions are like belly buttons. Everybody's got one. All right, so we need to turn on our radio, plug in the nose to get this set up. So we've got our setup receiver, our battery. So we will turn this guy on, find out where our nose gear goes.
Slap Nuts RC says new JTM pipe just installed. I must say it's much nicer than the crap he had. I like his little icon.
Yeah.
He's got balls.
So when I set the Z pattern up like this, I kind of just get it all put together, find out where it's gonna. So the servo is centered right now, right? That's what we're doing. Is we're not centering it to 90 degrees to the servo. We're centering it to the Z pattern. And I'm not going to use the far out hole. I'm using the next one in, and I just basically see where it's going to line up the best. So there should be no problems getting that lined up. Just like that. So that's perfect. So that's exactly where we're going to put it. I'll probably turn those in maybe so they're touching, because we've got a little bit of room there, but now we've got our geometry set up. And then what I do is once this is all set up, then I take my leg, get the leg installed so it is sitting perfectly straight. And that's when I tighten those screws down, it makes a little mark on the nose pin, and then I'm able to put my flat spots on there, so it's pretty much bang on to straight. Maybe 1 to 2, 3 points of adjustment on your servo, but not really much of anything. So, okay, so now we know that that's where we're mounting that. So I'm going to sand this guy down. We're going to drill that out. Dun, dun, dun. All right, guys, 5-minute call. If you have any final questions, now is the time to ask. I'll give you the 5-minute warning. Last call.
Time, gentlemen, please. Time to drink up your beer.
Make sure we can thread that in there. Perfect. So then what I'll do in this case, the one that mounts on the servo, is we'll actually thread this up from the bottom. So then there's no interference when this is moving over top of the servo, because the head of the bolt is just sitting just below the arm, which won't interfere with anything. So now I know that works. Now I'm going to sand that down so we don't have that excess sitting out there. Sorry guys for the noise. We got to turn the vacuum on. Because Trusty says you don't want to breathe in carbon dust. And then we take this, we thread it up through the bottom. And then on the top side, we put a nut through it, and that holds our arm in place. And then on the actual electron aluminum arm, we need to drill that out as well. Bum, bum, bum. It was actually super handy when I did the Razer programming. I essentially just copied my BDX. I just made a copy of that model. Electronics and everything is pretty much exactly the same. And it was a very simple radio setup. Now, of course, I don't remember where that was. I think we were one more spline that way. I
Yeah,
think
that's about right.
Yeah, I think that'll work. Just tighten that down all the way. There we go. So now we need to drill this guy out. We need to check our set screw to make sure there's Loctite on it. Surprise, surprise, guess what? That's when you're supposed to say what?
What?
There wasn't any Loctite on it.
No.
Yeah.
Sheldon Campbell says he's always afraid to copy models. I feel like I will miss a mix or have some ghost in the machine to mess it up.
Yeah. I mean, when I copy a model, what I do is, that's a valid point for sure, but what I did is, so when I copied my BDX, the first thing I do on my Jetty is I go in and I delete all of the all of the telemetry information. So basically right now there's 0 telemetry information, and as we start to plug things in and repopulate it, it picks that back up. And then I just go through and I zero out all of my servos. So every single servo has 0 sub trim in it, right? So yeah, so that's how I do it. And I mean, on a complex model, maybe you don't want to do that, but yeah, like a sports jet, pretty straightforward, because there's not generally, at least I find, any specific mixes that are kind of weird for that one model. We should probably use a metric drill bit. Might be a wise choice.
What size of metric bit? What size of metric bit?
3 mil.
3 mil?
And then the hole will be perfectly sized. There we go. And then we can also run that one up through the bottom. All right, guys, last few seconds here of the live. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching.
We almost have the same amount of likes as we do people watching.
Nice. That is perfection. All right, well, that is this week's live. So next weekend we are at, supposed to be at Lethbridge, which is perfect for scheduling. And then the weekend after that is, I don't think, anything, so we should be able to do our live again on the normal schedule. And then the week after that, we're at we're in Saskatoon. So anyways, summer schedule. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. Yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for seeing all the sneak peek stuff before it comes out on the channel. Hopefully you're enjoying your summer. And happy flying. Take care.
And we're off.